Hi, I'm Misty Gakey. Welcome to the GPS module on writing and submitting your self-assessment. Today I'm going to show you how to enter ratings and comments pertaining to your performance standards and goals. So let's go ahead and get started. At this point you should be logged into GPS and you should be at the GPS Center. There's two ways that you can access your self-assessment. The first is from the menu bar. You can select Reviews, or from the Task Center there's a link titled Write Self-Assessment. Let's go ahead and select this option. On this screen you'll find some general information about the self-assessment. Now notice when you're reviewing the instructions in the middle of your screen it says the performance review. You are completing your self-assessment, but it's the self-assessment portion of the overall performance review. To get started in completing your self-assessment, navigate to the left-hand side of your screen and notice the performance standard link as well as all the individual links. You can either click the performance standard link or any of the individual links to get started, or over on the right-hand side of your screen there's a button labeled Access the Review. I'm going to go ahead and click here. Now as you're navigating through the self-assessment, at any time you can either use the buttons at the top of your screen to navigate, or you can use the individual links over to the left-hand side of your screen. So I'm going to select the first performance rating in the middle of the screen. Notice that underneath this performance standard it'll give you a description of that standard, and it will also give you the performance standard scale along with the applicable definitions. So it's important to read through that information before you start making any entries. So let's go ahead and enter the rating and the comments for this particular standard. It's really easy. To get started, just hover over the ratings bar and you'll notice some text appear with ratings. Select the appropriate rating, just simply click, and then all you need to do at this point is enter some comments. Now, before moving on to the next standard, I actually want to submit an attachment, so that way my supervisor can see some supporting documentation for this particular standard. So to attach a document, just navigate over to the right-hand side and click the tool icon. And at the very bottom, there's a button labeled Attachments. You want to click it and then select Add, and then it's going to prompt you to browse for the file. So I know that I've saved this particular file on my desktop, so I'm going to find that file, and you either double click or select Open. It gives you the option to add some comments about this file, so I'm just going to say I got some feedback from Carol and select OK. The document has now been attached on the right-hand side of your screen, and so when you submit this to your supervisor, they'll be able to review the supporting documentation that you've added. So let's go ahead and move on to the next performance standard. I'm going to click Next, and you'll want to go down and repeat that same process. Hover over the rating scale bar. Now before I enter comments, I'm going to go ahead and hit Save because I don't want to lose any of my work. So under your name there's a Save icon, simply click there. Now once I hit Save, I want to point out some visual indicators on the self-assessment. On the links to the left that we've pointed out, notice the circles. The gray circle indicates that this standard has been completed. A half gray and white circle indicates that information is missing, and the white circle indicates that this standard has not yet been started. This is a really good way to keep track of your work as you're moving through the self-assessment process. So let's go ahead and complete this standard. I'm going to add my comment, and now I'm going to go through and complete the rest of the performance standards. Now that I've completed entering ratings and comments for all of my performance standards, I'm now ready to move on to the section summary. The section summary gives you an overall snapshot of all of the ratings that you've entered for each of the performance standards. So note each one of the ratings that you've entered on your screen. If you want to make any edits to the ratings, simply hover over the rating bar and select the appropriate rating. If you want to make any revisions to comments, just select the edit link and change your comment and select OK. So at this point, I'm completed with my performance standard ratings and comments, and I'm ready to move on to the goal section. When you get to the goal overview page, one of the things that you need to take notice of is there is a different rating scale for goals. So take a few minutes to review that rating scale and read the applicable definitions. And then you're ready to repeat that same process for entering ratings and comments for each one of your goals. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on that process. At this point, I'm ready to review the overall summary of my performance standards and goals. The summary page of your self-assessment will show the overall final performance rating that auto-calculates based on the individual ratings that you've entered for each of your performance standards as well as your goals. That final performance rating is located in the middle of your screen, and in this instance, my final performance rating is achieves. I'm just going to go ahead and enter some final overall comments that I want my supervisor to see. And at this point, you're ready to submit your review to your supervisor. To submit the review, locate the Submit Review button at the top of the screen, select Review, and it's just prompting us to save before we actually submit. So I'm just going to go back and hit the Save icon, select Submit Review. There's an opportunity to enter any final comments. Select OK, and you will be given a prompt showing that your self-assessment has been submitted successfully. You have now completed the self-assessment portion of the performance review process. For more videos on how to use GPS, please access the GPS website, or you can send an email to gps@uthscsa.edu. Thanks for watching.